All right, we're gonna share this. So here's when you ask this question: who do you believe? Who thinks that Shedeur Sanders is doing his thing? I think this guy does.
Sanders, as a veteran, what's impressed you the most on how he's approached the game?
All the time he takes, showing up early. Coach's office is easily seen when you walk in the building. Almost every morning you see him in there, talking through plays, talking through schemes with coach and making sure that he's ready for his moment when he gets called up. And I appreciate that level of maturity and attention to detail.
So as you can see, here's the thing that we kind of alluded to before, Darren, is all right, the coaches knew that. If Myles Garrett can see him every single day in the coach's office, as he so put, why is it that the coaches or your people can't step up and say, hey, look, the young boy is in here putting work in. He's putting the work in.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they didn't do it because, again, when Rex Ryan had his little soliloquy on that Friday show on Get Up, that would have been the one. And I don't know if I would have asked that question right after the game, but I know like that Monday press conference or that Wednesday press conference, it would have been addressed to Kevin. But again, I think the local media didn't ask because, maybe they side with what Rex is saying, even though I don't know who is like, seriously, like what source would he have inside the Browns? That's calling telling him that of all people, of all things.
Well, let me tell you something, Rex. I told somebody like this, Rex contract coming up. You see the Rex contract coming up. You know good and well. Shedeur, and I told people that Shedeur is a stimulus package. You say his name.
That's the other thing too, man. That's the part that and that's you got to give a couple minutes on this. This is what I try to explain to people when it comes to the media stuff, man. It's like you have to understand. If Shedeur is what you were basing stuff off of, especially for clicks and stuff like that, even if you talk radio, if you're going to talk about Shedeur, you have to still kind of protect him because here's the thing, he can cut off access to you, and he doesn't have to answer you. And this is and this is what I tell people. See, the difference between me and me and my guy Steve and everybody else in the media here is like. The players trust us. Like, even if they watch our show, come on our show, we will tell them if they play good or bad to their face. They respect it enough because we don't, because what we say, we'll say the same thing to them when we're interviewing them, when we're talking like, man, you fucked up, man. Come on, man, you know that. So they respect it. So it's like when they don't want to talk. See, now this is what happens. Now the Chiefs have, they've kind of gotten on me about this a few years ago, but now they just kind of gave up. Because what I do is when we go I'm always the first person as we line up to go to the locker room. Because I get down in the tunnels in the fourth quarter to set up for post game and everything, and then when the players come in. So when we get into the locker rooms, I just try to see who's around, who's getting dressed, whatever. And have to cool up here. And depending on where the media goes, they may try to hover around. Let's say they want to go to an offensive player. Everybody's huddled around over here. You know what I do? I go to the defensive side of the locker room. Hey, talk to Nick Bolden, Neo, whoever. Hey, can I get you that cool? I got you, D. That's what they say. So I was like, now, I need you to get dressed for it. So as soon as they get dressed, whatever, I already got my shit set up, my phone, my camera, mic, and everything else. And so I'm talking to them one-on-one. Now, when other people see that, they come running to come down there and try to get on the interview. But they know, one, they'll wait because they see me. Because what I used to do, I used to just have them in front of the phone or camera, whatever, and do it like this. But now I get in the video so that way, they can't, they can't do anything unless they get my questions in there and they get him talking to me.
So you was a bad boy in the club. You wouldn't even let Shorty out. Nah, I'm talking to Shorty in the corner.
Nah. So so what happens, G, is that they have to wait 90 seconds, 2-3 minutes until I'm through with my one-on-one. So by the time I get through, technically the players have met their obligation. They just have to interview with just one person. So we already let them know. You talk to me and Steve, you ain't got to talk to nobody else. They like, and bro, they have to do it. And so
You
And so
dropping
when they come
gems.
over trying to talk to the defense player that I'm already talking to, I go over to the other side to the offensive player, and then I got that person one-on-one, Travis Kelce over to the side or something like that. And then when they try to come over there, I'm back the other way. I'm back talking to Trent.
Follow the leader, right?
Hey, and dude, they get so mad because I tell them, I'm not here to do your job. You got to get your own interview. I said the thing is, if the player, and so they'll complain to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs be like, well, yeah, I got to get in on that. And the thing is, if the players don't want to talk to them, they got to talk to them. Again, they'll talk to me and they'll talk to my co-host Steve. They'll talk to us because they like us, so they'll talk to us at any time. It's anybody else who, and again, as long as they talk to one person post game, whatever, they've met their obligations. So that's how we do it.
Listen,
I'm letting a little secret sauce.
Listen, don't tell them too much. Don't let them get too much, my man. Miss Carly, we appreciate you as always being a member and a super chat. Shedeur can pick this offense up with no problem. I've watched him for 4 years. Darren, we know good and well. Like, come on, stop. Come on, Pat Shermer. I've watched Pat Shermer used to be a head coach here.
And it's funny because people talk about, well, Dylan's he's 6 years of college and all these. Well, last I checked, man, this is what pisses me off. Shedeur has had 6 offensive play callers. 6 offensive. Deion has said that. And for people to think that he can't read defenses, do they forget who his daddy is? I mean,
what do you mean he can't? Like, his father was a defensive player covering receivers.
Again, that's what pisses me off about the local community, because it's like when you're saying that, you're insulting
my intelligence.
Not only you insulting my intelligence, but again, you're insulting this kid's intelligence to where I'm starting to think that is some hidden racist stuff behind that. Because again, who his daddy is, do you think growing up his daddy was his coach? So do you think he only coached him while they were out there on the field? Like, he wasn't teaching the son how to read game tape at home? And of course, when he was training with Tom Brady, it's not like Shedeur did not have access. He had access to everything.
I mean, the best coaches, the best trainers, it's crazy to me that they pulled it. But here's the thing. Let me just be honest with you. Look, no disrespect to whoever, what they doing. I got to take it like it. I'm not going to get upset that somebody said something about a game that they really ain't never played or been around, or I'm not going to be mad at that. Like, I'm going to be mad at somebody? Like, that's like, no, I can't, because that means that I would have to value your football acumen. So no disrespect to the people that been covering, the Browns for a long time and ain't never been to no championships, but I'm going to show you that this is what the real look like.
What I don't like is reporters making it seem like they don't want to go cover Super Bowl now. I'd rather be on one. No, that's cap. Trust me.
Super cap.
And everybody wants to cover at least one Super Bowl. Trust me. I tell you.
And love it to cover a team. The Browns, watch, here's how you know it's cap. Let the Browns sniff a Super Bowl. Everybody that never did a interview in their life is a media member all of a sudden. I'm credentialed up. They don't have to tell you. I'm going to have to shut y'all down. G. Bush, UCSS is becoming hard to watch. They hate Shedeur and the culture he represents so much that they prefer he never see the field, no matter his talent. Keep playing chess, not checkers with him. Keep that heat on Stefanski. There is a lot of people, and it's not intellectually honest. It's not. Because there was people saying preseason don't count. So the game he played well, it didn't count. It was just preseason, and don't take a grain of salt.
But it count for Dylan.
But
it was the last thing we saw.
Because it counts for him, right? It counts for him, but don't. This is how the post be moving. And I think this is when it really clicked for me. Is when he went out there and he went to the projects, and when he put on that thing for them kids. And somebody died. Multiple people lost everything they had. And people was telling me, hey, don't go. This is one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. Don't you go out there, boy. What you talking about? And when I heard people saying they doing it to front, he was just fronting for the cameras. I went crazy. I was doing the blog. I emotionally started crying. I cried on the blog. And I was upset because, and this is how it is. I'm just being honest with you. This is how it is. When you are one of very few in your industry, you carry a silent weight with you. you carry a silent burden everywhere you go. And you carry not only the fact that you have to be better than everyone, you have to work harder. You got to struggle the most. You got to put the most work in. Not only do you have to do that, but then you also have to be the voice for everybody else that is either struggling and feeling the same thing you feel in their office, at their house, in corporate America, at their job at the park department, so you take all of it with you. And sometimes you don't never know when that pressure gets too much for you. And you don't know. That's why I always say I try to disconnect from it, because I ain't got to tell you. Sometimes that emotion comes out. Sometimes, and you don't never know when it's going to come out. You don't never know if it's going to be anger, or it's going to be you being upset, or you being emotional, or you crying. And at that moment, I was crying because I just said, this dude is
He cares.
he cares. He wants to do something. And he out there unsolicited, no matter how many touchdowns he throwing to people he don't know. And I said, how dare you come at this man in the projects where you'll never go, or people you don't care about, and people you don't eat, sleep, be around, but yet and still you gonna call it a publicity stunt. I took offense to that, not only as a person who covers sports or former athlete, but a black man. I took offense to it. And sometimes it's tough, Darren. I'm telling you, you have to be praying for each other.
Bro, trust me. I live here in Kansas City covering the Chiefs. I've been covering the Chiefs for 32 years. If people knew the amount of times my credentials have been threatened and pulled at one time, you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't like my line of questioning to Andy Reid. Well, let me say this. My season credentials had got pulled, but they credentialed me for every game. So it was thank you, just a girl. So it was irrelevant, but they trust me. But even during the COVID year, they was like, damn, we gotta have a conversation. I was like, y'all not taking my credentials. I had to get the national NABJ involved, because that's how bad it was. That's how I come across when it comes to these questions and stuff, man. Like, I don't pull any punches. I mean, they're not disrespectful, but they're tough questions. I ask tough questions. Look, sometimes it gets to the point where I ain't got to ask the questions in a public setting in the press. I just ask the players in the locker room. I just ask them off record, or I'll ask them on record in the one-on-one or whatever. But I'm not finna argue with y'all about this stuff, because we all here for a season. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I don't plan on doing it for another 30. I can tell you that now, unless we keep going back to Super Bowls. That's the only way I'll still do it. But